everyone, it's TTT back for another vid. And for today's monologue, I'll be reading an original monologue written by Andrew, my assistant. Dear Diary, 2 weeks ago I told you about how I was dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Today, I'm going to let out all of my anger and feeling that I have for this year, for 2020. Escape me. And onto your pages. So, I already told you about January, February, March, but now for the full story. The NBA League basketball player for the Los Angeles Lakers had his daughter, seven others died in a helicopter crash. These several were held in February. These services were held in late February. In April, COVID-19 was still going strong, and people were getting sick of it, and we were ready to go back to normal. Large groups of no socially distanced people, very few masks, went out in the streets and protested, demanding things like back to normal. But normal was long by this point. At the beginning of this month, there was 1 million cases of COVID worldwide. By the end of the month, there was 1 million cases in the U.S. and over 62,000 people had died from the virus. Although it was clear the virus wasn't ending soon, federal social distancing guidelines experienced leaving it up to the states on how to control the virus. In May, different protests began in Brunswick, Georgia, where over unmarked black man named Anthony Ariebri, who was shot and killed while jogging to his neighbors in that February. Those protests brought back a moment from 2015 called Black Lives Matter. Albany was not the only Black Lives Matter that was brought back up though. In Minneapolis, an unarmed black man was accused of using confident money at a grocery store, and the cops were called on him. The police officer, Derek Michael Colvin, was then caught on camera kneeling on George Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes, while Floyd was telling him multiple times that he could not breathe. After this, during the day, people were protesting to get back to normal, and then at night, protests for riots for Black Lives Matter. During this time, through the virus started getting better. China had a day of no new cases in May. For the first time, this has happened since December, and the world started to slowly reopen. However, this is a good sign was short-lived. On May 27th, U.S. had 100,000 COVID deaths. In June, Black Lives Matter let Minnesota and well around the world. With people demanding that defund the police, Congress went to do what the people wanted to demanding defund the police. Congress wanted to do what the people wanted, so talk about defunding the police began. Cities took their own action by defunding their police departments, budgets, and more police officers. However, a good sign came back during this month, but only latest a few of the COVID-19 cases came back during this month, but only for a few weeks. And COVID-19 cases came back during this month, but it only lasted a few weeks. COVID came roaring back in July. Rumors started that the population China video sharing social networking service TikTok was going to be banned in the U.S. government. On July 30th, U.S. President Donald Trump said these rumors were true, and he was going to ban TikTok on August 1st. That ended up not happening though, as TikTok was getting banned because it was bought by an American company, and August turned out not to be banned because it was an American company, and August turned out not to be a bad month. However, American actor Chad Bateman died of stage 3 cancer on August 28th. He was only 43. We are now in September. COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter are still around, but not as they were before. There are signs of COVID-19 making a comeback, though. The latest said thing happened so far, the death in America. Jurist who served as an associate judge on the Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died in pandemic cancer at the age of 87. She served 27 years, which hit the ward pretty hard, losing someone who had served for so long. Well, that's all I need to know. Goodbye.